Hello, Epic 7. It's a week behind schedule, but Ancient Inheritance is back for season number 6. This season doesn't appear to have any new rules or content from the last season other than this fix to the chests. Sorry, loot goblins, no free pass for you this time around. And the set we're farming for this season is an attack set and a crit set. Now, you may be thinking, well, who the heck uses attack sets? Well, there's a lot of options like Commander Pavel and maybe Giselle or... Yeah, don't look at this, Senya. Okay, look. I'm sure you'll find a use for attack set somewhere, but seriously, Smilegate, buff attack set. Anyway, if you are a veteran to Ancient Inheritance, this will serve as a recap, but if you're new to this event, this will be a solid dive into tips and tricks to help you succeed and make the best out of this event. First and foremost, this event is, at its core, Guild PvE. Your personal advancement is tied to your guildmates, and theirs is tied to you. To participate in Ancient Inheritance, you need to be level 40, which you probably already are by the time you join a guild. And your guild will need 16 members, all level 40 or above of course, in order to initiate the event. If your guild drops below 16 members after initiating the event, that's fine. Once you're in, you're in. There's no minimum membership requirement to sustain the event. However, although you only need 16 members, you really want to be a part of a guild with a lot of members. A very active and organized guild is key to success. So if you really want to min-max your Ancient Inheritance experience, and really your whole Epic 7 experience, and especially if you're in a guild that's falling short of your expectations, hit me up. We have limited space in the Baka family, but I can probably help place you into a guild that is relatively active and will help you out with your Ancient Inheritance. Check the link in the description for my Discord and drop me a DM. Now with guilds out of the way, let me emphasize this part. This event is for everyone. Yes, you. Not kidding, even you. You see, Ancient Inheritance has some sick mechanics that let everyone play on pretty much equal footing. You do not need to be strong, your gear does not need to be good, you don't need to have a ton of units. Trust me, you can compete here at a top level even if you're relatively new. Ancient Inheritance has normalization aspects that put new players basically on the same footing as seasoned veterans with endgame gear. This is because of a few aspects of this event. First, there's an enlisting system. You're only allowed to enlist a handful of units, 10 at the start, and I think only about 35 or so by the end of the event, so having a deep pool of units is not a requirement. Second, these units can be unleveled. You see, Ancient Inheritance has a unit normalization mechanic. The moment you take a unit into Ancient Inheritance, the unit is immediately upgraded to level 60, 6-star awakened, and all of your skills maxed out on Mola. Now, sadly, as soon as you exit Ancient Inheritance, your units return to normal. Third is a gear normalization mechanic. All gear stats are reduced by roughly 90%. So that 70% crit damage main stat neck you've got, yeah, that's only 7% now. Those 40 speed boots with 20% crit chance sub, they're giving you 4 speed and 2% crit chance. This is actually a pretty sick system because stats come from your leveling inside of Ancient Inheritance, not your gear. And this is great because it lets you explore units who are largely considered garbage. Check out my boy Ricardo here. In Ancient Inheritance, he's level 60, 6-star awakened, plus 15 Mola, and his kit crushes. That pen set ring he's wearing, it's effect resistance main stat. Don't ask me why I have an effect resistance main stat ring, I don't know. And he's also wearing my first piece of blue gear, leveled to plus 15. It's a level 60 gear. But it's a rage set, and that's what matters. I mean, you see those stats? Well, this is what he looks like at enhancement level 15 inside of Ancient Inheritance. He's probably one of the least usable units in the game, but if you choose the warrior path and max out his skills in game, he is insanely broken. No joke. There are plenty of 3-star and 4-star Losers Club units who have insane kits for Ancient Inheritance. Now, because you get no stats from gear, artifacts that boost things like crit chance are really good early on in the game. So artifacts like Midnight Bloom, Black Hand of the Goddess, things like that, they're very, very useful. Later on, as you advance, your crit chance will have maxed out to 100%, and you can move away from those artifacts. So where do your stats come from? Well, that's the final special mechanic of Ancient Inheritance. It puts us all on an equal playing field. We all enter the fight with the exact same stats. The stats come from the special class enhancement system inside of Ancient Inheritance. You see, when you do things in Ancient Inheritance, you gain experience points, and those experience points can come from fighting monsters, using items, reading books, even just walking around. And as you gain experience, your level goes up. And as your level goes up, you gain class enhancement points. And you can use these points to make a class type stronger. You see, in Ancient Inheritance, you don't level your units, you level classes. And as you level classes, all units of that class get massive stat boosts. So for this reason, you want to focus on just 1 or 2 classes plus Soul Weavers. I can't stress this enough. If you want to be an asset to the guild and proc really high numbers in fights, pick 1 or 2 classes in addition to healers and stick to them. Ignore all the rest. Here's my Season 5 skill tree. As you can see, I went with the warrior path, and I also boosted Soul Weavers as my primary class. I still stand by warrior Soul Weaver being the strongest combination, but all classes can be viable. What you do not want to do is you don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. Don't spread the enhancements out. You see, this is what a level 2 ranger class does to Assyria. Compare this to a level 10 ranger class Assyria. I think you can see why having one class and running those points all the way up to maximum might be better than spreading it out and having a bunch of mediocre units. So now let me talk about classes for a minute. In my opinion, you should always pick Soul Weavers as one of your primary classes. Though you can be successful in this without Soul Weavers, they sure do enable a lot more comps. I don't recommend running a non-Weaver team unless you really know what you're doing. Now, Warriors, I believe, are the strongest class. What makes Warriors so strong is, for some reason, Ancient Inheritance gives them more stats than the other classes. Warriors also have the largest diversity of units, from debuffers to self-sustained to damaging artifacts. They have the depth of diversity that other classes just can't compete with. I've run Warriors every single season and will probably do so again this season. Mages are machines of murder and probably make the second easiest class to run. They do incredible damage, they have powerhouse artifacts to support them as well. Rangers are a little difficult to run as a main, as there just aren't a ton of super high damage rangers out there, but as a third class, they can bring unparalleled debuffing and support to the fight. Tamassaria, anybody? And Knights, although Knights struggle fighting the main floor bosses because they don't really have the diversity to handle the insane requirement of the priest fights, they're freakishly good at proccing massive numbers on the mini bosses. Check out my boy Temeter here with his full clear, all by himself using a Knight team. Extremely organized guilds may want to assign Knight mains to hang back and clear out the guild chests and side rewards while the rest of the guild proceeds to kill the priest and push to higher floors. And Thieves are probably the only class that struggles a little bit. They lack the utility needed for some of the fights. Now don't get me wrong, Thieves can really make powerhouse teams and proc really big scores, so no need to post that comment that you're raging on there. I know you can make really strong thief teams, but you will probably need support like Rangers to accomplish the very high score. I don't exactly know why, but Ancient Inheritance also gives Thieves less stats than the other classes. Now let's take a moment to talk about gear. We discussed before that gear stats don't really matter because they're nerfed, but the gear set bonuses are in full effect. So this last little bit of prep work I want to touch on is how to gear. The way class enhancement work is you will cap out a lot of gear stats fast. So certain sets are great while other sets are kinda useless. For example, crit chance, crit damage, those will cap out. Effectiveness, you'll be way beyond the effectiveness you need to debuff anything in this game very quickly. Effect resistance, same situation. So those sets aren't really useful in Ancient Inheritance, especially once you push a little bit deeper in your levels. Immunity isn't that big of a deal, and you can't injure PvE units, so injury sets are also suboptimal. However, there are no functional caps to health, defense, and speed or attack, so those sets are great. Rage set and pen set are OP in this because you usually have debuffs on your enemy, and the boost to damage from those is great. And you can run the trashiest of trash rage sets because stats don't matter. Torrent set will boost your damage, but beware of its impact on your health. Now, I'm mentioning all of this because you can pre-gear a lot of units that you would never use anywhere else in the game, and put them on sets that have really bad substats. It doesn't matter. Put your junk on there. The gear doesn't even have to be plus 15. As long as the set is there, that's all that really matters. Now, stats do help a little bit, but the set bonuses, that's where it's at. Now, you ready for the best tip of all? Hang with me on this one. It's going to sound like an advertisement, and that's because it is, but you really want to hear this one. Any coin enjoyers out there? Are you sad about the recent nerfs to the exchange rate on coins? If you know, you know. And if you don't know, well, I'll let you in on the sauce. Do you like saving money? Do you like discounts? How does 20 to 30% back in points on your in-app purchases sound? Where these points can be spent just like cash in Epic 7. I have some exciting news from Huawei AppGallery. They have just launched an incredible cashback offer, so let me first walk you through how to get these deals. First, you'll need to grab your Android device, or in my case an emulator. Install a browser real quick if you don't have one, then head over to the Huawei AppGallery, link in the description, and install the app. Now you'll have to provide birthdays and emails and phone numbers, all the basic stuff app stores that are processing money ask for, nothing out of the ordinary. Make sure when you enter your birthday, even if you want to lie about it, you make sure you pick an age that makes you at least 17 years old, or you'll get stuck behind the child account wall. Now, one tip I will give you is change your country to Switzerland. It seems to have the best in-game prices right now for European countries. Once installed, you'll need to check that HMS Core is also installed. HMS Core runs in the background. It just makes sure that your in-game purchases count towards your points. Now install a new instance of Epic 7 via the Huawei Appstore and make sure that this instant is where you make your purchases. Now head over to the features section and take a look at the promotions. And look at that, this month we have a special deal out there for Epic 7. 30% points back on your first purchase and 20% points back on each additional purchase. No limit, no tiers, no caps. That's 2 to 3 times what other app stores are currently offering. It's really simple to get this set up and going, but if the process still confuses you or you hit a stumbling block, head over to the official Discord, also a link in the description. There you'll find tutorials and a helpful team of people ready to answer your questions. Huawei runs promotions on a regular basis and often hosts giveaways in their Discord, so make sure you join. So what's stopping you? There's a collab going on. Go get those deals. Okay, we've covered prep work and saving money, so let's talk about what you do your first day of Ancient Inheritance. I'll have a video up Monday about this, but just in case you want to hit the ground running, here's a primer. First and foremost, the instant Ancient Inheritance opens, you need to turn on your game and jump right in. Even if you don't have time to play. If you only have 5 minutes, log in, jump into Ancient Inheritance, and get yourself on the map. The reason for this is, anytime the guild collects rewards, if you're not on the map, you won't get the rewards. So make sure you're on the map, and then you can exit and leave and go do whatever you need to do for the rest of the day. And while your guild collects rewards, you'll still get the points for those collections. So you don't want to miss out on any mini-boss rewards. Now when you're ready to play and you jump in, you'll be forced with a choice of starting relics. Mileage may vary, but my recommendation is to stick with one of these 3 relics. I think Wanderer's Pipe is still the best relic. A close second is Exploration Journal. You get more experience from Wanderer's Pipe overall if you add it up than from Exploration Journal, even if you count reading the books. But Exploration Journal is a really, really close second. Wooden Spatula gives you about 1 extra day of provisions across the entire event. So while everybody else gets 14 days worth of provisions, you get 15. So it's a decent third tier option. None of the other relics are really worth getting, in my opinion. If you think I'm wrong on that, I would love to hear your reasoning behind it. Hit me up in the comments section. Now, as you go up to higher floors, the rewards are much, much better. In fact, floors 1 and 2, the rewards are such trash that with very few exceptions, you'll just want to rush the priest and get to floor 3 as soon as possible, stopping only to collect relics, scrolls, and perhaps the books if you got the exploration journal. I know chests are tempting, but don't be a loot goblin. The chests are dog water on floor 1 and 2. Just don't even bother opening them. It's a waste of resources. Trust me, you don't need to even open a single chest other than guild chests until the second week of the event. You will have plenty of time to buy out the shop. Now, the game does provide maps to help you rush the boss, but these maps need explored, and running around without a plan will greatly delay your progress. To help get you organized, Bread once again leads our team in map making to help you plan your Ancient Inheritance experience. Each video I release will have updated maps, so make sure you subscribe, ring that bell, and smash that follow button right in the face so that you get notifications the moment new maps are out. I will also have all these AI maps available in the Discord server. Now, as far as the in-game map system, it has notes, which are really nice for the guild generals or commanders. You can use the note systems to direct troops to specific areas and make teleports a little easier to identify. Now, after selecting your starting relics, make sure to enlist 2 to 3 units, but no more. I know you have 10 empty slots, but don't fill them up yet. You do want to have one of each class you plan to use, because some of the loot drops have bonus rewards if you have a unit of that class on the team, and it's rare, but some scrolls can force you into a fight, so it's best to have a couple of units ready. Other than that, leave the other spaces empty, and that way when you get to a mini-boss fight, you can plan who to draft based on the fights you've got to deal with. You certainly don't want to have to fight an all-fire boss and all you drafted was earth units and you don't have any slots open. There is a withdraw system to it, but you're limited on how many units you can withdraw, and it does not reset, so you really kind of want to save that, usually until the last few days when your team lineup changes. Now, when you pick units, you want to pick to units that cleanse, have self-sustain, especially buffers and breakers are really, really nice. Now, this final bit is for the guild organizers, the captains and generals, the movers and shakers, the people that make your guild advance in Ancient Inheritance. Ancient Inheritance requires organization to really squeeze every drop of value out of it. To open the floor bosses, you'll need to kill wardens and mini-bosses, and this is easiest done with organization. I recommend you divide your guild up into teams. 4 teams seems to be the best, but each guild's going to have different needs and desires. The urge to loot is strong, but save all of the looting for floors 3 and 4, or at very least the last 5 days of the event. You will have plenty of time in those last 5 days to loot enough to buy out the entire shop, so spend the first week at least advancing your guild to floor 3 before opening chests. There's more I could get into, but I don't want to waste your time nitpicking minor details. There'll be a link in the description to Derp's Ancient Inheritance Guide. It'll be the one from Season 5, of course, but Season 6 looks to be exactly the same, and I'm sure he'll have a Season 6 guide up soon as well. If you want to read a really good primer, he's put together a really nice guide. And that's that. Ancient Inheritance is a good time. It's a great bonding experience for the guild. It's fun working together as a team, and I hope that this guide is useful in your Ancient Inheritance climb. If you have questions or concerns, throw them in the comment section or hit me up in Discord, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great one, everybody.